There he is.
Hello.
I don't get you humans. Sometimes you just...
And just as a reminder, as long as you cross the line before it reaches 0, you can continue your last lap.
Oh no.
very strong laps.
Damn, I almost lost it real hard in front of you, Michael.
Oh, nice. I squeezed up into fourth at the last second. The last lap.
A great lap,
And
Luis.
that was only like a tenth and a half. And I got
pretty
four
compact
positions. Yikes, it's tight.
It's
Yeah,
a very
it's pretty
tight.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. 3/10 separating third and ninth, just from what I can see on my overlay.
Don't ask me how I did that.
Dude, that's what I was like in my SEC race I just did. I was like, well, I did a quali that somehow other people couldn't beat, but when it gets to the race, watch out.
And CTD is back for round 3 at Okayama. We have a very tight grid tonight. Top 10 separated by a second or less. And I know everybody outside of the top 10 is not far behind, so everybody definitely has very close pace tonight. It's going to make for some interesting racing.
Yeah, there's a lot of like really quick amateur drivers that are putting all the pros to shame. We have one new face, which is Tom Gulker. We have a very old face, which is Jeremy Melton, who is making his return. But otherwise, it's the usual suspects.
Definitely a good way to put that, right?
Yes, the criminals.
Last time Jeremy raced here, he was definitely very strong. All right, and we're off. Josh taking the green flag. Lewis flashing his lights. He's letting him know, hey man, I'm here and I'm gonna be coming for that spot.
Yes, you better believe it.
Ooh, we have a little bit of
Oh.
a pile up here. I think that's P3 of Alex Lo-Fi.
Yeah, I'm going back and looking. Top three have pretty much taken off. Let's see who was involved in that. Get my black box. Yeah, Alex Lo-Fi was definitely involved in that. Not sure who else. Michael.
Ah, that's a shame. Both of
Yeah.
those guys had really great races shaping up.
Yep, so I'll have to go ahead and look that one during the private race review. But either way, we do have some separation now between all the drivers.
Yeah, it looks like everybody. Ooh, we've got another spin. That's it's looking like Matthew Farron just losing on the exit.
Ah, that's too bad.
Turn 7's a tricky one, especially if the cars ahead of you have dipped their tires in the gravel. They just drag all of that nasty stuff right on the racing surface, and that makes it really difficult to navigate through there.
Yeah, it's not a big track either. So if you have any sort of pressure coming from behind you, or you're pressuring somebody in front of you, it's very easy to crash or dip a tire in.
Yeah, that's a great point. So it looks like we've got Lincoln Fox really closing the gap up to Joseph Essinger at the moment. He's really putting that pressure on him.
Yeah, just other than that, seems like just about everybody. We do have the battle now between Alex Lo-Fi and Matthew Farron, who both had unfortunate incidents to start. There's also Tom and Angelo, who are very close to each other.
Check in with those guys. Yeah, bumper to bumper on the back straight. We'll see if Tom is feeling extra confident coming into the braking zone.
No, he does the right thing. Or not the right thing, but he does the smart thing, and lets Angelo choose the braking point. It's hard to overtake on there, but we do have some side-by-side behind them. Lincoln and Joseph are still fighting out. And if we know Lincoln, we know that this might be the inevitable is coming.
Yeah, very true. Joseph has definitely been putting the practice in though too. He's his racecraft is definitely improving. Yeah, just put.
Tried to send it around the outside there. That was sick.
Joseph's doing everything he needs to, putting that BMW all the way across the track, really preventing that move from him even having a possibility, really.
Yeah, on a track this defensively, if you just cover off the inside, it is very hard to pass. There are some times you can go around the outside, but few and far between, and you got to be a good driver.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking again, having to look in the inside there, nothing doing.
He's being patient, really setting up that move. He wants to get it done and not look back. These guys fighting definitely would cost him a ton of time. It's not going to be a very positive thing for either of their races.
Yep. And then if we look at the front here, we do have a nice battle between Carter and Louise. With Louise almost side by side here, coming into what I believe, which turn is that? I gotta get my track map up. Oh, it's the hairpin.
Yeah, turn 5.
Yes.
So it looks like Lewis did lose out on that P2 position. Carter Price is moving on through.
Yeah. Both of these guys have criminally low I ratings for how good they are.
Absolutely.
again, Lincoln is just glued to Joseph.
We do have a current fastest lap from Luis Sampaio at 135.6.
Very strong. As Carter is able to get about a half second of separation between him and Luis, and he is still in Josh's draft.
There's a friendly rivalry building up between Carter and Josh as well. Those guys have a ton of respect for each other, but they've raced each other.
Very friendly.
Yeah, they've raced each other very hard over the last 2 rounds as well.
Yep. As Lincoln makes a move on the inside of turn 1, will he be able to make it stick through turn 2? As
Ooh, Joseph on the inside, Lincoln on the outside. It can get pretty treacherous out there in the gravel.
wow, that
Joseph
defense, like,
holds
good
on
to-
to it. Yeah,
for
love to
now,
see it.
Lincoln might have a look. I mean, Lincoln's starting to. Oh, what an exit from Lincoln there. That was disgusting.
Yeah, he put the pressure on just the right spot. That really cost Joseph his entry into that corner. Now he's under attack from Jake Austin as well.
Yep.
Joseph bringing the heat back, though.
But now we have the separation, and now the battle goes between Joseph and Jake. This track is just so difficult to pass on. Carter, by the way, appears to have closed the gap to P1, and he is right on Josh. The top 3 are within a second of each other.
Oh boy, that's gonna get spicy, I'm sure.
Oh, I can imagine. The Watkins top 4 battles, as somebody who was in them, were very intense.
Yeah. I do not envy you whatsoever. I enjoyed my nice cushy position in the broadcasting booth, and I'm glad I didn't have to take any of that heat.
There was some pretty intense heat. Right now, everyone seems to just be doing their laps, with the top 3 looking like they are the closest right now.
So keep an eye on these guys. 3 different lines from those three different drivers into turn 4. Everybody chose.
And 3 different CTD liveries.
Yeah. Keeping it interesting.
Now Angelo and Tom seem to be very close to each other as well. At least they were.
Tom's definitely there. Not putting quite the amount of pressure on that he needs to force a mistake from Angelo.
Yeah, Angelo has pretty consistently been getting better exits. Tom's overall pace seems to be better, but it is hard when you have somebody with good exits to pass on this track.
Yeah, well said. Almost all of the corners here lead on to somewhat of a mini or a long straight. So if you get that exit, that's going to be a hard one to try to attack.
And we're always talking about the vortex of danger as it comes to defending and making sure that you're not crashing. And this is a vortex of danger heavy track where if you close that vortex of danger, you are so hard to pass.
Very true. There for a moment, we had a new fastest lap from Josh King at a 135.6, but quickly stolen by Lincoln Fox at a 35.3.
And Luis has made the move on Carter. He is through.
And we
Let's
missed
see if
it.
he can make it thick. The fighting between Luis and Carter has led Josh to about a 1.5 second lead. These guys, 1.5 and 1.4 KI rating respectively, driving well above the pace typically shown by that level of driver.
Yeah, definitely. Not only their pace too, but their racecraft, their car positioning. They should definitely be much higher ranked than they are. Jeez, word vomit.
Speaking of which, Lincoln has caught Tom, and there is now a 3-man battle. They touch a little bit, but there's no No spins, so they continue. They are bumper to bumper coming through the last sector of this track.
Yeah, Tom really putting the pressure on Angelo now. He knows he needs to get the move done before Lincoln gets involved. Ooh, Angelo a little bit wide. That's going to cost him. That looks like he lost 2 positions there. That's a tough one.
And now who will get the move around the outside here? Will it be Lincoln? It will be.
He came into
Very
turn 1
nicely
with,
done.
yeah, all of the confidence in the world there.
But that seems to be the closest battles that we're having right now.
It looks like our fight for P11 is starting to shake up.
Maybe that would be Farron and Coley, the scientist. So a lot of separation between all of these drivers, Lincoln going a little bit wide through the gravel there. Carter has caught up to Luis. They're now within a half second of each other, but wow, Luis with these good exits. They do seem to be out of Josh's draft, which is going to make defending by Luis a little bit harder. Josh has just done a 1:35.5, which is an extremely quick lap, only 0.2 off of Lincoln's fastest lap.
Yeah, that is rapid. Everybody running in the 35s. That's an impressive feat, especially in these track temps. It is a hot day.
Yep, they're chilling. They've gone down a couple degrees. It's about 99 degrees Fahrenheit right now. Wally was around 107.
Yeah, 8 degrees might not seem like too much, but that definitely starts to take a toll on your tires, especially if you're pushing for this entire 20-minute sprint.
And as we enter the second half of this race, whose tires have been holding up?
That's a good point as well. We might see this battle for P2 get really interesting depending on who's managed their tires a little bit better.
Yep. They are coming through the third sector of the, heading into the final one now.
Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lewis looking calm, cool, and collected. Where
oh, move into the inside, beautiful Carter.
And we see a lot of cooperation from Lewis there. I thought he was going to put much more of a fight up against that.
I think Lewis might have messed that up, or he broke too late. That didn't seem intentional. It seemed like Carter recognized that Lewis had broke too late and went for it.
Oh, fair enough. Sometimes you just have to be optimistic with the moves, wait for the right moment, and strike.
Yeah.
Does look like our battle for P5 is getting interesting as well. Oh.
That's Jeremy Melton and Lincoln Fox, and Lincoln is through. So now the real question is, Lincoln typically hovers between 4 and 5K I rating. Will he be able to catch the leaders? I don't think he will.
That's going to be a tricky one. With the gap to Nicholas Cox in P4, about 3 seconds up the road, but a total of almost 7 seconds to P2 and P3. That's going to be really hard to close in the next 6 minutes or so.
Yep. Especially with the lap times that everybody's running. But Lincoln does have some clear air. We know he is quick, so we will see how that unfolds. Meanwhile, Carter and Luis are still fighting. Coming into the same corner where the overtake happened last time. And a better exit from Luis.
Yeah, Carter going a little bit wide there. Just a little too impatient on the throttle.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Josh continues to build that gap. We have a gap to P2 at almost 4 seconds now. Ooh!
Oh, man. Carter running wide, and Luis just takes the position, but that was really close to contact.
Yeah, well done from Lewis to notice that ahead of time.
Yeah. There's a phenomenon where if you're just following the car in front of you, it's very easy to follow them off the track, but Luis was very clearly on his own line and was able to avoid it.
Yeah, really a test to his visual skills there.
Yep. As Lincoln runs the fastest lap of the race, a 1:35.1 in clear air.
Yeah, no draft, hot temps. That's insanely quick.
Yes. The battle here is still between Carter and Luis. That's the only real battle we've got going on right now. And we have a move potentially to the inside of the hairpin. And it's going through, and Luis does back out and let him go.
I have to give it to these guys. They're being so respectful to each other. It almost seems like they're having fun, and it's more of an IOU. No, you go first. No, you go first.
I'm curious whether that will continue when we hit the white flag.
That is a great question.
Coming around the final corner, onto the straight. Carter pulling one of the biggest gaps we've seen so far in this matchup, and Lincoln has caught Nicholas. So how will how will Nicholas be able to hold Lincoln off? Nick is quick.
Yes. It seems like he might have been struggling a little bit this week, especially in practice. But that was a couple days ago. I know his pace has increased from then.
Oh, they're about to go side by side through the S's.
Ooh, Lincoln tucks back in, making sure he prioritizes that exit.
And he gets Lincoln's exits out of turn 4 have been pretty phenomenal. He is going to have the slipstream going down the straight.
So let's see if Nick goes defensive here, driving kind of in the middle between outside and middle line. Holds the inside here, Lincoln around.
Oh, can he make this work? No, not
Nah,
yet.
not quite. With turn 5 just having so much camber at the apex, it makes it so tricky to carry that speed around the outside. You almost always start to understeer on exit.
Yeah, and if you end up diving, you just park it. There's never a really good exit. So it looks like an overtaking spot, but it really isn't that good. Nicholas going through the final corner now.
Both of their cars' postures are looking very racy too.
Yes. Oh. Nope, sorry. Looking at. Josh has pulled a 5-second gap. I wonder if something just happened this
Ooh,
Lincoln.
Nicholas cocks off a little wide. He's going to hold the inside into turn 2. Lincoln with the more speed. Yeah, more speed. Goes wide, but holds on to the position.
Excellent move. And the gap that Josh has pulled is just because of the fighting between Carter and Luis. I thought something might have happened, but Josh is just fast. Lincoln was able to get past Nicholas. And we are getting close to white flag here. I believe as soon as Josh crosses the line, this should be red flag.
Ooh, Carter a little wide on the exit of turn 5. That brings Lewis right back up to his bumper.
Yep. See how this last lap goes between
Yeah.
these two.
These guys are going to be racing all the way to the checkered. Carter again wide on exit.
I wonder if the nerves are getting to him. It can be hard when your anxiety goes up. You start to be a bit shaky. You start to think a little bit too much. You miss your exits. You miss your entries. You miss your apexes. Yeah, we will keep an eye on this. This is definitely our most exciting battle going into the last lap.
Josh crossing the line, taking the white flag. 1 lap to go.
Yep.
Tom Golker just getting a little into the gravel there on the exit of the final corner.
Carter with an excellent first sector. He's pulled a 0.6 of a second gap, which that was a very clutch first sector. Now down to 0.7 or 0.8. Wow.
Yeah, turning the afterburners on. He's looking for every bit of pace he can find.
Yep, and now this is the big one. Does he get a good exit out of 4? And it looks like he does. That gap going back to a full second.
And now it's starting to get into a little bit of a concern here. Lincoln Fox 1.8 seconds behind Lewis. He's got to be very careful here through these last 2 sectors. Any mistake, Lincoln's going to be right there to capitalize on it.
Yep, speaking. Ooh, Carter fishtailing a little bit through. What's that, turn 8? Going through this set of hairpins. So things that could happen here. One of them could get a slowdown coming through this next corner. They could end up in the gravel on the exit of the last corner. That does not happen for Carter. Carter going into the last corner. And he nails it. And that will be P2, Josh King, the winner of this race by about 5 seconds. Another just brilliant performance.
Yeah, I think that's his 5th amateur win so far this season. That makes him 5 for 5, which is just insane.
Max Verstappen.
Yeah, Mr. Consistency himself.
Yes. The Abby Pulling of amateur racing. Great job.
Rounding out our top 5 is Lincoln Fox, Nicholas Cox, followed by Jeremy Melton, Tom Gulker, Angelo Bovino, Joseph Essinger, and Jake Austin, rounding out our top 10.
Great job, everybody. That was a great race. Yeah, congratulations to Josh. Congratulations to Lincoln. And yeah, we will see you back for race 2.
We'll see you guys in a few. And we're back for race 2. We're a little bit later in the afternoon here. We definitely have some hotter temperatures. Our track temp at 116 degrees for this race, so that's going to make things very, very interesting for this grid of drivers for race 2.
It is hot. There's no way around it.
Maybe if...
how the tire-
oh, sorry, go ahead, Howard. Howard's going to be
Yeah.
joining us for this race.
I'm interested to see how the tires play out in terms of first half and the second half of the race.
Yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
very interesting to see if we have some early pushers and then their pace starts to fall off maybe towards the end of the race, but we have an oddity on the grid here. James moving up the order a little bit.
Who is?
It looked like James got out of the line there and started lining up to make it 3 wide as the pace car pulled off, but I think you've got back in line.
Yes, back in line. Know your place. Alright, so have a bigger standings now. What is going to happen? So we did have an incident turn 1 of race 1, but that was pretty much it. And then we had someone sort of spin on their own.
Yeah.
So with these track temps and a little bit more pressure, we'll see how this goes. I'm very excited to see this. Alright, got my eyes on the front row of the grid here.
It's worth noting too. We have Nicholas Cox and Jeremy Melton, a couple seasoned veterans here. They might make things real interesting.
And yeah,
Really good
we are
job.
off. Very good jump. Into turn 1, cold tires, hot track, and looks like Josh goes ahead and takes P2. And now Nicholas is right next to Luis.
And it looks like we had a nice and clean T1 and T2 there.
The gods have spoken. They have blessed us with a good first sector.
Lewis really struggling at the start of this race. He's lost another position. Not quite yet. Jeremy Melton on his inside though, coming into turn 5.
Yeah, we do have a pretty crowded grid. Nobody's really been able to take too much of a gap other than P3, and Jeremy gets ahead of Luis.
Nick looking for that spot as well.
Oh, and Lincoln got spun out.
Oh no.
He had a really nice move going up the inside of the hairpin, but unfortunately got tapped wide at the next couple corners.
That is too bad. So it will be another last first challenge for Lincoln. We're going around turn 9 here, through the S's. And Carter and Josh still glued to each other.
Essinger up a couple positions here.
Very nice.
For last exit, though.
Yeah, Angelo gets quite the run on him up the inside. Ooh, we have a little bit of
Ooh.
contact. Oh, that is a big contact for Angelo.
That was rough. Just neither of them really gave each other a lot of space. That was really unfortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a very damaged Cayman for Angelo Bovino as well.
Yep.
I will
And
also
some
note
meatball.
that right side really tightens up as you get to turn 1, and it's easy to get caught out when you're facing the tightening track.
Yep. We do have Michael, Alex, and Lincoln now who are coming down the straight. They are all very close as Angelo limps back to the pits. Somehow is able to drive that thing. I am shocked, but we do have a fast repair so he can get back out on track if he wishes.
Still a tight race up front.
We have a couple tight races going on too.
Battle for second, battle for seventh, sorry, battle for first.
Other than that contact between Joseph and Angelo, everybody's keeping it pretty calm. Starting to settle into the race here. Everybody kind of picking and choosing which battles they want to take on.
Yep. This has been, yeah, very clean so far.
Ooh, and Lincoln with the run out of the last corner gets past Michael.
Yeah, Lincoln's exits are just, like, when you start to look at the difference between a pro and an amateur driver, at least in our classification, it's the exits are where you see it the best. So now we have Joseph and Michael almost battling here. Still up at the front. Carter has been able to hold off Josh. It hasn't really been that much of a battle so far.
I will say it does look like Carter's pushing a little harder than Josh behind.
That is true. We'll see if he can keep this pace up as his tires heat up.
Josh with the fastest lap at the moment too, by a whopping 10th to Carter.
Yep. Michael having a look on the inside of the hairpin, decides to go around the outside. And doesn't look like there's going to be anything coming of that.
Ooh, Michael putting his nose in there, letting him know.
Sometimes those fake moves can be as effective as the real ones.
Lincoln is behind him, sniffing a fight though. So.
Yep. And Lincoln is a patient guy. We will see how this plays out.
Yeah, in race 1 we saw him be extremely patient with 2 cars fighting ahead of him. Just waited till the right time. Those guys both fought, and then he picked them both off at once.
Mm-hmm. See, we also have Jake Austin chasing down the scientist, Matthew Coley, as they come between for a battle for 10th here. Gotta say, I love that gold, white, and black livery. Oh, Coley! No!
Ah, man. He held that slide for a very
did.
long time.
That was almost exceptional. But these track temps... Luckily he didn't hit the wall too hard. He should be good to continue. But maybe a little bit rattled.
Carter Price with the new fastest lap of 1:35.8. That is once again rapid, especially given our track temps here.
Yep, that is 6 tenths faster than P2.
Lincoln just passed Michael for 7th.
Very nice, and he will set his sights on Essinger next.
I will note that Alex did join the fight, so 4 cars in the fight for 6th. Lincoln goes up the inside.
Is. So that Lincoln's got the run here on the inside.
Comfortably
Wisely.
has the position.
Yep. And now we will see the difference in exits.
That is a hard one to defend on the outside lane from Essinger as well. There's just not much room, and trying to carry speed around the outside makes it really challenging to go door to door through there.
Yep, and Michael has a look on the inside, nothing doing. That also, again, we might have a Michael and Alex. So these guys crashed last race with Michael, unfortunately, taking the brunt of the damage. These guys are very close to pace. But that seems to be our closest battle on the grid right now, these 4. Carter has opened up about a 1.5 lead to Josh. Jeremy and Louise are also pretty close to each other, but we'll probably keep taking a look at, Aaron, if you're looking at this sort of battle for 7th.
Oh, absolutely. It's a 4-way battle here, so we don't want to, well, not quite a 4-way. Lincoln's probably going to start pulling away here, but at least a 3-car battle for P7.
Yep, as long as they keep fighting. Ooh, another look. Very nice aggressive driving by Michael, and smart enough not to actually send it in there. But he is making Essinger think about him. He knows he's there.
He's applying the pressure, but on the flip side too, he's leaving space open for Alex to actually Lo-Fi to get involved. He has to be pretty careful. He doesn't want to leave too much space there.
The door was open a little bit, almost side by side.
Michael backs out. Definitely a wise move there. Better to survive than to go for that that dive in the last couple turns. And Essinger wide.
And Michael's efforts have so far paid off, and now Essinger is under pressure from Lo-Fi, and he goes ahead and covers off the inside into turn 1. And doing the same thing, going under the inside, again backing out.
Oh, no. Contact, and it collects all 3 of them.
That is super unfortunate. Oh man, that's definitely one to look at after the race. Michael just goes ahead and tows. This race is likely over.
Just barely left the door open on the entry.
Yeah.
So now,
super unfortunate.
Yeah, it's definitely a bummer to see. Maybe just a little more conviction there at the apex, and that could have offended, or I guess made Essinger think twice maybe about putting his nose on the inside there.
Yep.
Up front in the lead, Josh has closed up the gap to Carter by 0.7 of a second over the last lap or 2.
And Josh with the new fastest lap, 35.7. At the beginning of this race, he said he had no skill as far as tire management goes, but I think this has proven otherwise.
Yeah, we will see.
I will also note Luis got ahead of Jeremy, who had a little bit of a wide exit at the last corner this past lap, and Luis comfortably takes 3rd ahead of him. So we'll have to see how that battle plays out.
So at the beginning of this race, it looked like Lewis might have been struggling a little bit, but I'm actually starting to wonder maybe he was saving a little bit of those tires, wanting to make sure he had a fight towards the end here.
Yeah, why not both? You know, when you start to save fuel and you end up running fast laps. And Coley has a spin. Not too big, didn't really hit the wall too hard there.
Maybe still a little rattled from that previous incident.
Yeah. And potentially with some damaged tires.
Yeah, very true.
We still have a battle now between Essinger, Lo-Fi, and Jake has now caught these 2.
Lo-Fi also has front bumper damage. I think that's probably going to really affect his straight line speed.
Mm-hmm.
And given how strong the BMW is, that's going to be a really challenging one to attack.
Absolutely.
Lincoln is going up the inside at turn 4 on Nick. Drag race to the hairpin.
Oh, they're so close. Don't touch. They don't. Nick goes for an over-under and might actually get it.
Oh! And a big moment of contact there.
But look at that. Cock for covers. He's still in the fight, and he makes it stick. Woo.
A roller coaster of emotions for those couple of corners there.
Looks
I mean,
like,
talk about defense. Now he goes wide.
With slowing down, giving the position back, but dirty tires.
Yep. And a bit frazzled mind as well.
Meanwhile, we still have a close battle for P7.
We do. We also have looks like a pretty close battle for P1.
Let's check in with our leaders. Josh closing
Carter,
that.
yeah, Josh has caught up.
Just dancing in the mirrors a bit. Makes Carter go narrow.
Who gets the better run here?
Looks like Carter got a good run. Josh is in the slipstream. He is smartly covering. Going into the inside. Or, sorry, the outside. See, and that's defensive driving. Cover off the inside. It is super hard to overtake unless you really send it around the outside. And even if you park it on the apex or go slower than you think you really can, it doesn't really matter that much.
It looks like Josh is waiting for Carter to drift wide on the exit, but he's just a little too close to get that overspeed on exit and carry through, and Carter's just holding that apex as fiercely as he can.
Very nice run from Carter, coming out of the last corner and going into turn 1.
Yeah, defensive early. No, finds that he has plenty of space and then just takes that normal racing line.
We also have Jake Austin getting past Alex Lofi after a little bit of a moment coming out of the last corner. Very nicely done. As Carter continues to just run his race.
So with Jake Austin through now, let's see if he can put any pressure on Essinger.
Yeah, Jake's fastest lap is faster than Essinger's. So it is possible. So we have now reached, we have about 4 minutes left, and the tires these drivers are racing right now are going to be pretty rough.
Right as you say that, it looks like Lofi had a bit of a spin coming through turn 6.
Yeah, he had heated up his tires before having a moment coming out of the last corner, so not surprising. It's the reality of driving in these temperatures.
Jake Austin still chipping away at that gap. He's down to 5/10 behind Essinger coming down the start finish.
Yes. Other than that, we have separation other than Jake and Essinger, and then every once in a while Josh catches up to Carter, and then Carter is able to get a good exit and drive away.
It's interesting to watch the yo-yoing between some of these battles here.
Right. What Lance Stroll called the concertina effect. Bright guy, that Lance Stroll. Ooh, Lincoln. Actually, no, that might not have been a moment. He's in pretty good control.
It looks like he has fallen back to Nick Cox again.
He has. Nick played some very, very nice defense. And Lincoln's tires might be in some trouble. He did have a spin earlier. I don't know if that's affecting his he has any wheel damage or anything like that, but Lincoln is very squarely coming through this track right now. Actually, watching Lincoln hold on to his car is an extremely impressive feat. Meanwhile, up at the front, Carter's still maintaining this 6/10 gap. Josh has not been able to close it. We'll see if he'll be, we'll see if he's able to. Should have about 2 laps to go, maybe. Actually, no. The next lap that Carter crosses the line will be white flag. So Josh will have 1 lap to make something happen. As Jake Austin goes side by side with Essinger as well. Oh, they almost touch. They don't touch though. Very, very close. But Essinger, for now, keeps his position.
Jake really applying the pressure here.
Yep. Now as a look up the inside, nothing doing.
Essinger starting to feel the pressure potentially. That car is looking a little slidey, not very well controlled underneath him.
Lincoln up ahead, just taking the lawnmower line, so we'll see if he can keep his car under him.
As Carter crosses the finish line to start the white flag lap, the last lap of this race 2. Carter, very nice run out of run. Coming through these turns, these high-speed turns can be brutal. And especially with this tire temp and these tire states.
Yeah, once those front tires start to let go, they're extremely difficult to manage, especially through those high-speed areas.
Absolutely.
Carter going wide at the exit of turn 1. Joseph coming up to him.
As Lincoln drops
Not
down
Carter,
a couple
sorry,
of
Lincoln, my
positions.
bad. Yeah.
Yep. Lincoln is driving on the most slick of all slick tires right now. As Carter is about to enter the final sector of the race with a pretty comfortable second lead, but he's still got to bring it home.
Two corners to go.
Yep. Oh man, he almost lost the tail there, but he doesn't, and Carter
Joseph
will
goes
win a
wide.
race 2.
Oh my goodness, they're side by side.
They are side by side. They're so close to each other. Oh, it's a miracle they don't touch. They still have 2 corners to go.
Jake looking for that Hail Mary.
It's going to be a race to the finish. No, it's not. Lincoln just not able to do it. He's going to go ahead and weave and then meatball his car probably at the end, as he is usually doing. Look at him, just so squirrely. There it is. Very, very nice race. Ooh, man, that was a complicated one.
That is a lot of high tense driving for these guys. What a couple
Yes.
of battles.
Bad day to be a tire.
It is.
All right, so Carter Price taking the top spot, P1 in race 2, followed by Josh King, Louis Sampaio, Jeremy Melton, and Nicholas Cox rounding out our top 5, followed by Joseph Essinger, Jake Austin, Lincoln Fox, Alec Lofi, and James Zing is our top 10 finish.
Alrighty. Well, Howard, Aaron, great race.
Awesome race.
Yeah, pleasure to watch. It was a ton of fun to chat with you guys over it, and that's gonna wrap us up for round 3.
Yep. Alrighty, until next time.
We'll see everybody next week at Mo Sport.
Yes, sir.